as everybody knows that's listening to this show, coming up on Sunday at MetLife Stadium, WrestleMania 35. And if you don't have a ticket, you can watch it exclusively on the WWE Network. And we are joined by a man who on Monday, Bully, we could be saying is new WWE champion, and that is Kofi Kingston. And Kofi, welcome to Busted Open.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me.
How you doing, Kofi?
What's up, Bubba? You good, man?
I'm good, my brother. I hope you're doing well, too.
Fantastic. No complaints, man. Life is good.
Good.
Kofi, I got to say this, and, you know, that women's main event at WrestleMania 35 is going to be hot. But I don't think there is one wrestler on the WWE roster right now that is getting this much, not only cheers, but emotional investment like you are right now on SmackDown.
It's been unreal, man, over the past couple of months. It's awesome. And again, like the fact that like this situation doesn't happen if Ali doesn't get hurt.
Yep.
You know? Or if like Ali decides to like fight through an injury, you know what I'm saying? Like where a lot of people might think that that's okay to do, but he makes the right decision. He, you know, nurses his body and listens to his body and takes care of himself. And now I'm thrown into this situation where I'm replacing him. And I've been doing this for long enough to know how rare these opportunities are, you know? So I knew that I wanted to just like make sure I knocked it out of the park, not just for myself, but also for Ali, because I've been in the position as well where like you are taken out of what you see as your opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So I keep saying this in different interviews that it would have sucked for him to watch me do a terrible job. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like that was a big part of like or a big motivator just to like, you know, give a little extra, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, it's just been wild though. The reaction of people, like you said, emotional investment is a perfect description, because if I feel like the people have been with me on this 11-year journey, you know, so it's I'm just again really fortunate to be in the position to be able to kind of capitalize on this and just really feel like the genuine love and support of the WWE universe, who this has all been for them. You know what I mean? This is all, everything that we do out there is literally for them. Without them, there is no us. If they don't come to a show, we're just out there, you know, wrestling each other and play fighting, like, you know. But it's great, man. It's awesome to be in this position.
Kofi, about 2 months ago, I was watching the shows and I went on social media and I said, the WWE has approximately 60 days to find a story or an angle or a match in the men's division that could possibly have more emotional investment than the women. And I didn't think it was possible. And then boom, the situation with Ali and yourself happened. Many people believe that you have the most emotional investment in the company right now, even more than the women. Can you kind of describe what the last 2 months has been like as compared to the rest of your great career in the WWE?
Well, first I'll say, like, as far as like, you know, having more emotional investment than the women, the great thing about WWE is the fact that you can emotionally attach to whoever it is that you want, you know, and I think it's an amazing accomplishment for the women to be in the main event right now. You know what I mean? It's unheard of. I think I'm very fortunate to have been on the roster while the women have like had this historic rise, you know, having their own pay-per-views and, you know, having their own first ever Money in the Bank, all women's Money in the Bank, and first ever women's Royal Rumble, you know, and now like for them to main event WrestleMania, like all those girls in that match have really earned everything that they're being given right now. But as far as for me and like how it feels, it's awesome, man. It's like I said, it's just to be in this position is so rare. Like to have a singles match at WrestleMania is so rare. To have a, you know, singles match be for the WWE Championship is even more rare. But then to have it be organically fueled by the people, like nobody wrote this, and you couldn't have written this, and this wasn't something that was going to be written. Nobody was thinking about this. Nobody thought, hey, maybe we should put Kofi in the main event of WrestleMania. This was not something that was like, you know, made by the machine. So I think that is what makes it so special. Every great storyline has an element of reality in it. And I think that is what kind of sets it apart when something is just natural and something happens to where the people who invest so much in WWE and they invest so much into being a fan, like it's an investment to be a fan of WWE, like to watch all those hours of television, to keep track of Raw and SmackDown and all the pay-per-views and 205 Live, like it's a big investment of time. It's an investment that people make willingly, and it's only right that that investment pays off, that they have a voice in what happens, and they dictate kind of what happens on the show. So again, to be the person at the center of all of that is it's awesome. It's awesome. Again, I'm so appreciative of it. And even like with Woods and E, like without them, none of this happens either. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like this is the perfect just storm. They've been so supportive of me. We've all been supportive of each other. That's been the whole base behind the New Day. Bubba, like that was our thing. Like we always just bonded together and had it's a very real bond, and it's not just like a thing where we're in the ring and we're just like having fun in the ring. It's like we're actually having fun because we have fun in real life. So again, like that element of reality is what makes the New Day special, and the element of reality of us wanting each other to all be better helps this, because it's very real. Like it's entertainment, but this is very real, and the success that we want for each other. And then again, going back to reality again with the people really coming for this 11-year journey. Like it's been a legitimate 11 years. Like that's not like that wasn't planned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if it was up to me, I would have been champion in a day. But at the same time, like if it happened that way and I was multiple time champion, we wouldn't have this very, very unique and special moment that we're having right now. So everything happens for a reason, and it's all kind of coming to a head this Sunday.
Yeah, it's a great comment by you, because it really has been an 11-year journey for you. And did you think at any point that, hey, maybe my championship opportunity is just never going to happen? I'm part of the New Day now. We're dominant when it comes to being a tag team. We're entertaining. This might be where I am now. And like you said, if it wasn't for the Ali injury, you wouldn't be in this position.
Right.
Did you think that opportunity was just never going to happen to go after a heavyweight championship?
Well, I never say never, because you just don't know what's going to happen with WWE. I think that what we all talk about is what we can control, and what we can control is our performances in the ring, and how we can connect with people every time we're given a match, whether we have 2 minutes or we have 2 hours. You go out there and you try to captivate and maximize to the best of your ability the time that you have in front of the WWE universe. So that way, you know what I mean? Like they know that you've that you've invested. They know that every time that they see you, they're going to be entertained. That's all that we can control. And I think if you we're always trying to be the best. So a sign of being the best is being champion. And if you don't think that you can be champion, then you don't think that you can be the best. So I think that it's something where we all knew the possibility. We all believed in ourselves and our confidence, myself, Woods, and E. It could be any of us in this position. The story might be a little bit different, but I think E would excel at being a WWE champion. Woods would excel at being a WWE champion, and we all support each other in all of those facets. Right now, it's me that's kind of at the center of this movement right now. I don't think that we ever we don't have it in us to settle and say, oh well, this was it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We're always just trying to do the best that we can do, and then as far as the booking is concerned, that's out of our hands. I can't control that. I can just do the best that I can do, and then whatever it is that people want to do as far as storylines are concerned, that's up to them. So you just never say never.
Kofi, one of the things that we have debated on the show, myself and Dave and WWE fans, is what exactly did you and Big E mean when you said people like us?
Yeah, so there's a lot of we left it open-ended for a reason, and it means a lot of different things. For example, myself, I wear pigtails in the ring. I wear pink. I skip. I clap. I twerk. You know what I mean? And you don't see someone like that in the main event scene. There's obviously the element of race concerned in it, right? You haven't seen many African American champions in major, hold major titles. So that is definitely like a big piece of it. So I think what's awesome about this whole storyline is that so many people can identify with it, you know, whether it be people, you know, who are like black children who are looking at the screen and they see black men doing excellent things, you know, and excelling and doing excellent things. Now they believe that they can do excellent things. That's a huge part of what we do, and it's a huge element of pride that we take in being able to be that beacon of hope. But also from the perspective that kind of transcends race is the fact that this is a legitimate 11-year journey. Like, It's an 11-year grind. You know what I mean? Like, people like us, like people who work as hard as they possibly can, who are told no, who even before I became a WWE superstar, I was told I was never going to make it because I wasn't big enough. You know what I mean? I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't 6'8", and here we are. You know what I'm saying? People who are always climbing mountains only to find more mountains at the top of those mountains and have to climb again. You know, people like us, and it involves, it's everybody who has struggled, you know what I'm saying? Everybody who has, you know, who has had a difficult time getting to where they want to be. And now they can look at us as examples of, hey, I can do this because they did it and I see it happening. Maybe I can do it too. You know, to be able to provide that motivation for anybody, you know, black, white, you know, for, you know, anywhere, anybody from anywhere can look to us and find that sense of motivation.
You know, Kofi, just so you know, like myself and Bully, myself and Mark, we have done shows on those 3 words that you said on the microphone that day, because it's genius. Those choice of words, people like us, and you're right, Bully took it one way, Mark took it one way, I took it one way, the fans took it one way, and you're right. I argued with Bully. I said Kofi is talking about the lack of African American wrestlers at the top of the card, the lack of African American wrestlers as champions, and Bully took it a completely different way. Fans took it a completely different. So was that your intention?
Oh, absolutely. Just to keep it wasn't one specific thing. It wasn't one specific thing. It was a plethora of things. You know what I mean? And it was meant to, because we've all had different struggles. Even, you know, Big E and myself, we have different struggles as individuals. You know what I'm saying? To be able to get to where we are. You know, he was told he didn't have any personality. What? What? Are you kidding me? That was the gripe, like, for you know, oh, we don't know if he can be by himself. He doesn't have any personality. We want him to stand next to Ziggler and just be a stoic bodyguard. There's nobody that has more personality than E. You know, Woods coming up was, you know, he never ever got like a real shot. He always was attached to somebody. You know, he came in as like R-Truth's best friend. You know what I mean? You know, he just was never given like a real opportunity. Even, you know, like myself, we just all have different struggles. And when you say people like us, we all embody just different elements of struggle. And that is what it is at its core. It's a struggle. And again, like, we take a lot of pride in being the people who are able to achieve despite what people want us to be, you know, and anybody can identify with that.
Kofi, we recently had Natty on, and we spoke with her, and one of the topics was Rhonda. And Rhonda, the perception out there is Rhonda, you know, didn't come in the right way. She didn't pay her dues. And Natty is sitting here putting Rhonda over and saying, no, she did everything the right way. And I asked Natty, I said, do you feel any jealousy towards her? And Natty said, absolutely not. She was very happy for her. As wrestlers, whether we have small egos or big egos, every wrestler has some kind of an ego. So my question is this: how do Big E and Xavier truly feel? Do you think that there's any underlying jealousy in this whole situation? I mean, I think I know the answer, but I want to hear it out of your mouth.
Yeah, 100% no. So like with us, like I was saying, like the bond that we have is very real. Like, we've been traveling together for 5 years. We've never had any kind of arguments or any kind of conflicts or confrontations with each other. The goal with the New Day has always been to uplift each other, and all of us actually. So Woods' idea was to actually have this group, and he went to E, and he and E got together, and they were looking for a third person to essentially be in the group, and the idea behind it was to be guys that weren't like happy with their positions in the company. Woods at the time, like I said, never got a real shot to get off the ground. E at the time kind of saw his career kind of going down. He had matches with Wade Barrett where Wade Barrett would get all the mic time, and E was the champion, but not getting treated that way. Myself, I was the happy-go-lucky guy who was going to go out and do a bunch of cool moves and probably lose the match, and kind of getting typecast into a certain role. So we all had that struggle, and we all wanted the same thing. And when they approached me about being in the group, I 100% was like, yeah, I will definitely be a part of this because I'm looking to do something different. And on top of that, I'm looking to help, younger guys achieve a little bit of the success that I've had, and the way that it worked out, like they've helped me achieve a lot of success too. So we all like seek to help each other. We know that we're better together than the sum of our parts. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's all love, man. Like I said, it could be anybody in this position. Like right now, I'm in the center of the position. We've always looked at our group as a faction. Everyone talks about, oh, New Day's like a tag team. And it's like, yeah, we're a great tag team, but our goal was never just to be a tag team. It was like one person can be a singles champion while the other two are tag team champions, or we could have 3 singles champions, or you know what I'm saying? Like, to 2 people who are Raw tag team champions while the other 2 are SmackDown. We can do it all, and that's always been the goal. We want it all, we want to do it all, and we want to do it all together. And that's a very important piece of this whole story. So no, it's definitely no jealousy at all. It's all love. And like when we can go back and find like interviews at WrestleManias or interviews that we do, and Woods would always say, oh, you know what, our goal is to make Kofi Kingston champion, and he would always say that, and I would like laugh about it, but he's very serious about that, like we all want each other to be the best, and we want each other to like achieve like the most possible success, you know what I'm saying? So it's all love. There's no jealousy at all.
The last time WrestleMania was in New Jersey was WrestleMania 29. You were not even on the show.
I was not.
And now here you are at WrestleMania 35 in one of the biggest matches on the show. Talk about that for a second, because I'm sure that had to be extremely frustrating for you at 29, not being on the show and now being in one of the main event matches.
Yeah, it's when you're not on the card at WrestleMania, there's a definite like bitter taste in your mouth because you put so much into the show and the product. If someone like me has been consistently on the live events every week, so essentially driving the brand, you know what I mean? And then to see somebody else come in and have that spot, it's definitely kind of frustrating. Now for me that year, I actually did something pretty cool. I was doing the pre-show panel, but I was in between JR and Dusty, obviously 2 of the greatest of all time, and so that was cool in and of itself. So I feel like that's definitely a positive, but I think, and I don't want to say you always want to be on the show, because when we were hosts, that was amazing too, and I'm glad that we got the chance to do that stuff. But you definitely, your goal is to be on WrestleMania. Like you don't plan on, hey, I can't wait. Next year I'm going to host WrestleMania. That's not like something that you plan, or I'm going to be on the pre-show panel between Dusty and JR. Like you don't plan that stuff. That's just like fortunate stuff that's happened to me. But yeah, it's crazy now to have gone from there to here, even just the progression and the story of the New Day and our rise. Like I thought I was having fun, for the first 5 years of my career, and then I got with Big E and Woods, and then I realized like, oh my God, like this is what it's all about. I'm supposed to be doing this, like I said, I've never been in any fights or confrontations, altercations. We like a lot of the same things, and we really are like brothers, and like the fun that we have in the ring is like legitimate fun. Like we're actually having fun because it's all laughs, and that's the goal. You want to be able to do this, but you also want to be able to have fun doing it too.
Kofi, David asked me during the week on shows like this where I used to like to be positioned on the card. I love being first. So come Sunday, where would you like to be on the show? Do you like a particular spot on the card?
I mean, to me, it really doesn't matter. I'm just fortunate that I am like on the card. You know what I'm saying? And like the jaded part of me is like, you know, not getting excited until I'm actually walking through the curtain, because as you know, like anything can happen at any time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me to like, you know, speculate on, well, I want to be on this part of the card or that part of the card, I'm like, yeah, you know, it doesn't matter for me. And especially, I think we're really lucky in the fact, like you mentioned, we have so many people so emotionally and heavily invested in this match. Wherever we are on the card, like that reaction is going to be amazing throughout the match. Like, gosh, like going back to Elimination Chamber and hearing the fans in Houston, amazing. This past SmackDown, we couldn't even get our words out in promos because people are just like so loud. Like it was awesome. So I know for a fact that regardless of where we are on the card, whether we're early, whether we're late, whether we're in the middle, whether we're on after the show, you know what I'm saying? People are going to be like really emotionally invested, and we're going to have an amazing reaction. I'm
going to ask you a question. It's going to sound a little crazy. It's a question that one of our callers brought up yesterday. And he asked, I thought was a very good question. What would be more disappointing to the fans at MetLife Stadium? 80,000 fans, sold out MetLife. Becky Lynch not winning in the main event, or Kofi Kingston not capturing that WWE championship? So let me ask you, what do you think to the fans would be more disappointing?
That's what I was saying before, is that like you know, as a fan, you can kind of invest in whoever you want. It really just depends on the fan. You know, I have a lot of people. I have not been able to get to the bottom of my Twitter feed in 2 months because everybody has been showering me with, you know, either congratulations or hopes and concerns and all that. But I know how big like a following that Becky has too. So I think in an ideal world, like everybody wins, you know what I mean? Like, so hopefully that can happen. But I have no idea. What Becky's been able to do over the past 6 months it's just awesome. And I'm so happy for her because you see somebody struggle, you see what they're going through, and especially like what a lot of people don't see is what happens like backstage, and you know, just the struggle that goes on there, like the fight that goes on, like, you know, like in the locker room, and like, you know, with the writing team, or like it goes on with, you know, just how the creative direction might be trying to go, and now you have to fight for it to go. So she's fought, and she has earned everything that she is getting in this main event at WrestleMania. So I don't know. I really don't know. It's a cop out of an answer, you know, but I legitimately, I don't know. It's going to depend. I'm sure people would be upset in either case. It's not like an either or thing, you know. People could be upset with one and be upset with the other too, you know. So we'll see. The most important thing, though, is that we have both gotten to a point where we have gotten the fans to really care. The fact that we're asking this question, and the fact that we're like having to like split hairs and like, you know, compare, like who knows, it's a testament to what we've all been able to do in this in telling this story, you know, and telling our respective stories and the journeys that we've been able to come on and take people along with us. That is always the goal with WWE. This is why we do what we do, to have people emotionally invested in this quote unquote entertainment world, right? It's entertainment, right? But people are so heavily invested and just emotionally passionate, and that's really the important thing.
Kofi, when you had the gauntlet match a couple of weeks ago, I mean, you went about an hour, maybe a little less or a little more. Was there ever a point during that match where like you really had to dig down deep and like, wow, I don't know if I'm going to make it through this? Nope.
Never. Nope, not at all. Not at all. And I say that so Dr. Tom was the first person that I messaged when we were in FCW. We didn't have any kind of AC. It wasn't like NXT is now, where you have 7 rings. FCW, when it first, Steve Kern bought the building on Dale Mabry, it was like a warehouse with all canned goods everywhere. There was canned soda everywhere. We'd actually leave practice and you'd have like an 18 pack of soda that you could like take home for free because it was just all over the place. There was no AC. We had to sit on wooden planks for benches. The rings would get soaked because there was no flowing air. And of course, Tampa, Florida, hot and humid. Dr. Tom would make us do hour-long Broadways as like part of our initiation almost. So that was I guess even over like 10 years ago. But knowing that I was going to be in the match for that long, I knew I could do it because I'd done it already. So Dr. Tom was like one of the first people that I messaged, and I said, hey man, like, thank you so much for making us do that, because if not, maybe there would have been like a mental block that, oh my God, I'm going to be in the ring for an hour. Like, a lot of people came up to me and they're like, oh, you ready? You ready? Oh, you're going to be in there gauntlet match? I'm like, yeah, like I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be great, you know? So there was like no point. And then on top of that, like, to be in the position where you are fighting for this top spot again is so rare. And I know how rare that is because I've experienced it. So, there was no point in time that I was going to like let this like psychological warfare kind of like take over. I mean, it was grueling, no doubt, but there was no point in time where I was like, oh my God, like I'm not going to be able to, what am I going to do? I'm not going to be able to get through this. There's just like, that is not an option. You know, we had to get through it and we had to make it memorable.